Hi guys, and welcome back to SwitchUp. So today we're going to do things a little differently, as we keep doing. We're going to focus this week on a ARPG list.
Yes, we are. So we have a selection of games on the Switch here that you would consider to be ARPGs. Some of the best on the system, I would say.
Definitely. Okay, so the first one for me is the excellent Titan Quest. Now, I think this scored in the 70s when we reviewed it.
Yeah.
It did have a few performance issues at launch, which kind of downgraded its score a touch. But overall, it's a decent game, and it has full co-op throughout the entire experience, all the expansions. There is a ton of content there. I should imagine you can probably get it. Is it physical?
It is physical. I've actually bought it physically.
Nice.
When I bought it, which was about a year ago, it was about 20 quid. So it's definitely one of those that's dropping down in price.
Yeah.
What I would say, because I hadn't played it back in the day, I know you had and were excited to see it come over. As a newcomer to that game, it shows its age a little bit, doesn't it? I think it's fair to say. But it's still a lot of fun, and the co-op as well increases it, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Alright, the next one is Cat Quest II. Now, the main addition to this game was that they added the two-player co-op. So you can play it locally with a friend, just pick up a controller and they drop right in. Although they play as a dog, whereas you might play as the cat.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty simplistic. It's got an interesting style, almost like the whole game's played out on the map.
I saw, I haven't played this one, but I've seen your review.
Yeah.
And I did find that quite interesting, the way that it's set out.
Yeah,
on that
it's
map
quite
world.
nice.
Was the first game like that?
The first game was exactly like that, yeah. It is very much kind of more of the same in terms of sequel. Someone in the comments mentioned that reminded them of Octopath Traveler. I've not actually finished or played much of that. I think I played the demo.
Yeah.
You guys will have to let us know if that's similar. But yeah, decent game, lots of fun, very light-hearted, and reasonably priced.
Right, the next one then is Torchlight II, which we also have a review of on the channel. Obviously a game that had a bit of hype around it when it released. It's a game that a lot of people are very fond of, and I very much enjoyed this when I did review it. I think it got high 80s when we did the review. What I love most about Torchlight, I'm not the biggest ARPG player, although when I do play them I do enjoy them.
Yeah.
But I loved the mechanic, and I don't know if this is standard or has become more regular since, but of having your pet take your loot back to town. Because it was just so convenient, you know?
Yeah, just pets in games in general. Pets that do stuff.
Yeah, have a purpose.
Yeah, because I think I played Divinity after you'd played Torchlight.
Right.
And yeah, the pets in there just made it for me. I love that.
The next one then, maybe quite an unusual one, is a game called Remy Law, which is by Nicholas. This sees you playing as a young girl, and is also available in co-op, in two-player. But you use the weapons you acquire are things like broomsticks and umbrellas. It's very odd, and your loot is sweets. You pick up sweets and candy and things like that. It's quite a wacky game, but it was a lot of fun, wasn't it? We played it for a live stream, I think.
Yeah.
And we had a good time with it. Again, with the Nicholas games, they can be quite expensive, so it may be one to wait for a sale. And again, there is a physical release, but it's exclusive to the US, as is the case with a lot of the Nicholas games. Yeah. But worth checking out if you can find it for a good price.
Surprisingly good, that. Yeah. Enjoyed it. The next one is going to be a game that suits probably younger players. It's okay for adults, but it's, I would say, very approachable in terms of its difficulty. It's called Quest Hunter from Two Zombies Games. It's got 4-player co-op in it. The aesthetic is quite simplistic, and like I say, it's just really kid-friendly. There's a lot to do there, loads of quests and puzzles that you can enjoy with up to 4 players. It's a decent little co-op ARPG.
Is that a good one to play with children?
Yeah.
To kind of, get
alongside.
them into it.
Yeah,
get them
definitely.
used to it. And
exactly that. It's like you're talking about like an introductory.
Yeah. You can kind of mentor them through and.
Yeah, there's a nice story there as well. It's just so simple for kids.
Yeah,
good intro.
Yeah.
Alright, the next one, and one of my favourite games on the Nintendo Switch, is Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which we reviewed, when it came out, and that video just blew up. There's obviously such a big following.
Yeah. I mean, even before it was released, I know a lot of people were talking in comment sections about other videos about it, weren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So it was one that I played back on Xbox very briefly,
Right.
and it was also on other consoles as well around the time, but it just didn't get the recognition that it deserved. A really good game, tons to do in it, but it's the combat that really sets this one apart from any other. You jump and mount onto all the creatures, you're stabbing them in the back. It's just absolutely great. Brilliant ARPG.
I think, again, we mentioned ports the other week, didn't we? That's another reason why they're not as bad as some people make out, because some of these games were 10 a penny on another console.
Yeah.
And on the Switch, they've got the lease of life they deserve. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely that. Alright, the next game, or games, are the Bastian and Transistor titles.
Okay, yeah.
Now, I think it was Jace that might have reviewed these for us.
It was
Yeah,
Jace.
and he did a brilliant job of those. Links in the description.
Yeah.
But these are excellent. They had that narrator, which I mentioned actually in the Children of Mortar review, that just tied the whole experience together. The combat, again, quite simple. You got your dodge roll, your basic attacks, but everything about the world as well. Those visuals were lovely, weren't they?
Oh, they are, Like, really, just quite unique as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
really nice.
good. And I think the sequel did it equally nicely in terms of the visual, but that had a few more turn-based elements to the combat as well. Very good games, and if you can find them on sale like they were recently,
They were for very cheap,
90%
weren't they?
off or something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
silly like that.
Yeah, very good games.
Right, next one then is one that, I'll be honest, I wouldn't necessarily have classed as an ARPG. Maybe the term has started to morph as time has gone on. But the general consensus seems to be that it is one, and that's Ys 8. Now, Ys 8 is one of my favourite games on the Switch.
Yeah.
I love the setting of the desert island. Anything that throws you into somewhere unknown and lets you build up an area or an empire is always fun. You have the fact that you need to level up your characters, obviously, and then you create a party over time. You find the survivors on the island, and then you build up your town setting.
Yeah.
And you can then use the shops there to create better weapons or armour to use as well.
Yeah.
Haven't you?
It's got a really nice flow to it, hasn't it? The world gradually unlocks.
Yes, it does.
So you get the survivors. When you find the survivors on the island, they'll then help you open up new areas of the island.
Yeah, you need a certain amount to move the debris to get into the next bit.
Yeah. They're obviously gates, but they work well.
Yeah.
And I think you got me into this. As soon as my daughter saw the dinosaur, it was game over. She was like, "This is the best game ever." Yeah, she's close.
Yeah.
Decent title
Good
for
game.
sure.
Yeah.
The next one is one that needs no introduction at all. It's the launch game with the Switch. It's one of the most famous games now of all time, and it is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. There's that moment, isn't there, when you leave the cave at the beginning of the game and you go out into the Great Plateau. For me personally, that was one of my favourite gaming memories,
Really?
period. Like, there's something about a game where it lets you do things like cut down a tree and use it as a bridge as it floats across water. Like, that is so clever.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah. Anything that makes you forget momentarily that there are boundaries in a game world. Yeah.
Amazing.
Definitely. I'll be honest, even with Breath of the Wild in existence, top-down Zelda is still my favourite.
Yeah.
You know, Link's Awakening is probably my favourite, I would say, followed very closely by A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
But there's no denying that Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. Right, the next one then, similar to Breath of the Wild in some respects, is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I mean similar in the fact that, again, I don't think I would have classed this as a traditional ARPG, but it seems to be that they've kind of merged into that genre now. I haven't played a lot of the second one. I do own it for the Switch, but I played the first one through to completion on the 3DS when that got a release on the 3DS. Fantastic games. Obviously, the battle system is action-based, it's not turn-based. But I love the world that they craft. In the first one, I'm assuming it's the same for the second, let me know if it's not. You are fighting, or you live on the back of a huge creature.
Yeah, I've done a few hours of it.
Yeah, I know you have, yeah. And I really loved that premise, you know.
The next game is Diablo III, the Eternal Collection on the Nintendo Switch. Another one that doesn't need a huge amount of introduction.
No.
I'm not going to lie, I haven't played a huge amount of this, but one of our writers, Jace Glover, and his wife have spent far too long playing this game. Like, he swears by it. And I know I've got other friends, Alan, who wrote some stuff for us before. They've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours playing this. It has, I believe, a season system. You'll have to let us know down in the comments.
Interested to know, because when you talk about ARPGs, for the most part, people bring up Diablo as the best. But in recent months, with things like Torchlight and some other games that have come out, I think that opinion maybe shifts a little bit. I'd just be interested to know in the comments, what's your favourite ARPG? What are we thinking now are the best ones, if we were to really narrow it down?
Definitely. Okay, so the next one, and probably my current favourite action RPG on the Nintendo Switch, is The Witcher. It is an open world adventure game predominantly, but it has that action combat that's all controlled by the player, as well as all the looting and other bits and bobs that come along with it. It's an absolutely outstanding game. The review link will be down in the description if you want to go and check that one out, and I know many of you in the comments keep saying, just like me, that you're a little bit addicted to that title. Good game. Okay, next up is Moonlighter. Do you know what? We're really starting to realise how many ARPGs there are on Switch. It's mad. Moonlighter, again, another of my favourite titles. It has the pixel art aesthetic that not everyone enjoys, but a brilliant soundtrack on there. It's essentially a shopkeeping come ARPG. You spend your nights in the dungeons, collecting all the loot and gear and fighting monsters, and then you sell all those pieces in your shop during the day. I mean, even just saying that, that's awesome.
But what I found interesting about that game is that it took the classic ARPG route of loot.
Yeah.
But then, rather than you just going to some faceless seller and getting rid of it, you became the salesman, which was quite cool, wasn't it?
It's very cool.
Yeah,
no, great game. Really enjoyed that a lot. Next up is a game that was newly added to this list. It wasn't going to be on there because I'd never played it. It's Children of Mortar, which I've been playing for review and is a brilliant ARPG title.
Yeah.
Very much in the vein of almost like an old hack and slash title mixed with a Diablo. Very good. You control the player directly. There's magic here. You've got loads of skills that are tied to your stamina. But it's the story and the world itself, isn't it? It looks beautiful, doesn't it?
I said to you the other day, didn't I? I don't think I can remember another pixel art based game that's got such scope to it. When the camera pulls back and you see just how small you are, and it's great. Yeah, really good game.
Very, very nice title and quite reasonably priced. And I believe there's a limited run on this as well.
There is a standard edition, physical edition, and there may be a signature edition games available as well.
Yes, that's what I mean,
Yeah, collector's edition, sorry, from signature edition games.
Good stuff.
Let us know what your favourite ARPGs are and how would you describe them? What would be your criteria for an ARPG? I'm just curious because it has morphed, doesn't it?
Definitely.
I'd like to see what people consider an ARPG to be these days.
Yeah, lovely. For all things Switch all the time,
keep it Switch up.
See ya!